the Matrix, in the Matrix, Matrix, and the Matrix inside the Matrix.
I can lay bricks or I can take pics of animatrix doing insane flips. I can be an octopus in my Oculus. Ain't nobody stopping us.
Go.
And that is a taste of the rough cut of our new song we've got coming. The I Am Pooh Nanners coming to you live from Houston, Texas, joined as always by my better half, Stealth Shampoo, Nikki. Nikki, how you doing? What do you think of the new song?
I have a theme song now. This is everything 6-year-old Nikki could have wanted. This guy rhymed anime chicks with octopus and Oculus. It's fantastic. Hot beats coming out from our guy. Yeah. Who made that?
Oxygen Beats of YouTube renown. He's been making EDM music for a while, electronic dance music. He recently kicked out a song with Odd Ones Out and Boy in a Band, and I fell in love immediately. I love all those guys, and so I didn't know who Oxygen Beats was, and I was like, well, I love this guy. I listened to his music, and I reached out to him. I was like, dude, we need a theme song. What do you got? And he's like, give me some time. I'm busy right now, but I'll knock something out. Then he contacted me just like a couple days ago. And he's like, all right, I'm going to try working on it. And then tonight he was like, all right, here's a rough cut. What do you think? I just put in some test lyrics. You know, we can get rid of those. And immediately Nikki and I were just like, this is the song.
Those are jamming.
Are we that easy to impress, or is it just this guy's that amazing? Oh, man. I think he's that amazing.
A little bit of both.
I don't feel like I'm easy to impress. Anyway. So right now we've got so much to cover, so we have to jump right into it. We've got Archangel Hellfire, the free PvP mech game. Those of you fans of Mech Warrior, Battletech, if you like your anime mech games, like mech movies and TV shows, OVAs, if you will, of Gundam and Robotech, Macross Island. It's all there in this game. They have everything you could want. 2v2 in the PvP, which is free, right, Stealth? Your classes.
Completely free. I got to play it at PAX West almost exactly a year ago. And they have a super cinematic, really well put together single player, looks beautiful. And the multiplayer just came out completely free. So just go over to Steam and download it. There's no reason not to. If you hate it, you could just stop playing it.
There is that. And it's class-based. They have they have what they call light mechs, medium mechs, heavy mechs. The light's very maneuverable. The bigger ones pack more of a punch at. They cost some maneuverability. You can do shield rotation mechanics. You have a right shield, left shield. I was talking to one of the players. We talked to him a little bit more about how he pulls one shield up and then shoots with this one. And he rotates his body so that you're shooting the shield, and then they only recharge when you drop it. So he drops it, brings up the other shield, shoots this way. And his light mech, where he respecs his energy as well for whether or not it's going to be attack-based, defense, speed, energy production for the shields. So he's just managing it so fast that he reminds me of characters from like anime. It's like, they have anime music as you're jumping through the air. You have like the triple missile barrages just like you do in anime. It's so sick that you need to talk really fast to talk about people underestimating you. That's what you have to do. That has to be your thing from now on. And so watching these guys, they helped me put together this video of their attack. It's really fantastic, of the match where we had Ginger Mod and Pesky versus the unspoken pros of Charizard and Serve Error going toe-to-toe in the Streamer Open.
Number 1 Charizard.
Oh, yes, the number 1 Charizard, which is what the feed is from. I could have got it from Pesky, but Ginger Mod insisted that I use Charizard's point of view. He said this is going to be more intense because you're going to see these guys get walloped. So the intensity, as they had a disengagement there as he was avoiding getting killed. Another disengagement here as he runs backwards with the shield. You're going to see Charizard, that's going to be a repeating theme as he runs from these guys trying to 2v1 him. This is good first person to 10. And these matches usually don't last too long, but at this professional level, with how fast you can heal your guy when you pick those heal, that's that blue thing off in the distance. You grab those, you instantly heal up so much that there's the cooldown on it's so slow, or not slow enough, excuse me, that it's almost impossible to kill people if they're really managing stuff. You see right there, he just looked up to manage some of his energy production. He's like, all right, I need more defense. I need to make sure that my attack is all the way up. There's a common thing that you need to do. There's only so much energy you have to go around, so you can max stuff out. When you max stuff out on sliders, other things come down. There's presets, and you can do stuff manually. There's also little extra mechanics for switching weapons. You have 2 weapons on each hand going back and forth, as well as shield rotation. There's a lot to manage as you run around. Now, this is not a 6 degree of freedom game, technically. You can move your head back and forth, but it's not a rim scale game. You're meant to stay inside this one. As he just lost his player, you can see the points going up and forth. It's 2-3 right now, first 1 to 10. But those 3 that they get, it ends up going higher. Towards the end of the game, that is all they were able to get. You'll see that Charizard and Saber were only able to get one more kill towards the end of this one. But going into it, Ginger and Pesky thought it was going to be another 10v1. Apparently, all their matches leading up to this were 10-1 on the takedown. So, still, they gave them a little bit of run for the money. Charizard said he had only heard about this game during the last few minutes, so he did not have enough time to get really good at it. So it does not take time. But Gingermod and Pesky have also told me that they were only at it for like a couple weeks, but they're not letting up. You see the overlap when you run both your shields. But let's listen to what Gingermod has to say about this game. Now, you have to forgive me. I had to zoom way in because I only have the perspective of the cockpit. You can see there's a small area that's unobstructed. So I just zoomed all the way in on him. So it's going to be kind of lo-fi on his bot, but you got to do what you got to do until the developers are able to give us a spectate mode for this. All right, it's your man Poonanners here with Gingermod. He couldn't be here with his old buddy teammate Pesky Cashew. His mech is in the shop last we checked. Fresh off his win against Charizard and Saber, the unspoken pros themselves. Gingermod, how do you feel about that win? I heard it was not as much of a shutout as you had expected.
Well, it was a fun match. It took a while. It was like 35 minutes, and we definitely, I think both teams really brought their all that game. But in the end, nothing beats raw skill, and we did put them in the dirt.
Raw skill indeed. Now, that's raw skill I hear you developed in over the course of just 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's only been 2 weeks, but I have put in the second most games, and I did have the awesome opportunity to play several private 1v1 matches against one of the best players in the game, who's, I believe, part of the marketing team for the tournaments. So by facing him and dealing with that challenge, I was actually able to learn how to best maximize my damage and minimize what the enemy is putting out.
As well as operating your your micromanagement that you're doing inside your mech to keep yourself strategically balanced for what it is you're trying to do. I heard you tell me that's something you really like with this game, very mentally exhausting, right?
Yeah, so you have a number of kind of attributes for your mech. You can basically manipulate the stats of your mech on the fly. So right now I have damage and speed maxed out. If I were to run around, I'd be very fast. And if you were to shoot me, I wouldn't take that much damage. But I also would not be able to output much damage to you. So on the fly, I can reach up into my mech, manipulate these sliders, and quickly, bam, now I have my damage and my defense maxed out. Now I can really take you in a battle. On top of that, I have shields, right? 2 shields. And when they get hit, they regenerate if you let them cool off. You have to let go of them. And if you use them, they do drain. So you also have to be constantly rotating your shields and using them with your weapons properly. So it's nice to have one shield up and firing with the other arm and keep switching. You also have a variety of different weapons. Each mech has unique abilities, unique weapons, and unique stats, and unique player models. So right now we're actually very small. We're the light mechs, and the heavy mechs are pretty damn huge, and they're slow.
Well, I know you like your light mechs. You like to get your targeting on, kind of use it as sort of a wall hack. And something you don't like is people camping the health packs. They'll spawn in a little bit too quick, right?
Yeah, I definitely abused that too in my early days. I know some people complained about me doing that when I played with them, but it seems everyone's doing it now, and it's a viable thing to play. I mean, lots of games have pickups, and it's viable to camp around them and dominate that way, and that's fine. But it'd be nice if the developers could increase the cooldown slightly, or perhaps when you actually pick up a health, you don't just instantly get your health back. Maybe over a period of 5 or 10 seconds, it slowly regenerates back. I think that would be great to balance it. But besides that, the game is really balanced. Yeah,
the slow health regen is a common balance technique you see in a lot of games. So it would be definitely, I think the way that I've heard you talk about it, it would be a good call for the developers to go that way, or at least toy around with it for tournament play. Now, I know you guys won $500. You also won a trophy. And what else did you win?
A bomber jacket.
A bomber jacket. So
yeah.
You also are looking to get that grand prize in the Tournament of Champions coming up after these next 4 tournaments, where they're going to take the winners from each one, right? From each of the tournaments and put them against each other?
Yeah, there are 3 more open tournaments, and then there will be a championship tournament from the winners. The date is to be announced, and some of the rules are still not announced yet. But yeah, I will come in and win that.
He's already calling it right now, and he's got his practice on. Now, you had said you'd only been in there for 2 weeks, but you fell in love, so you're continuing to pick apart the game. But what you need is challengers in order to stay on top. Are there any challenges you're currently scrimming with? Any people that are helping you get your game up?
Well, surely these last tournaments was, not just a challenge, not just a tournament, but also a learning experience. And Pesky and I have continued to improve. I think we just need to really work on our teamwork, and I'm probably going to continue to be 1v1ing that top player. I still have not beaten him in a 1v1, but I exponentially increase my skill every time we face off.
Well, exponentially increasing his skill, not being underestimated. These are all anime cliches from the closest thing we have to a Gundam game to date here in Archangel Hellfire. Well, we can't wait to see more from you guys, and I hope Charizard and his whoever he ends up getting, if he sticks with Serve Error, goes to someone else, that they can step up their game and give you guys a real challenge. Can't wait to cover more of this as time lets on.
Thank you.
All right, so that was GingerMod doing a little bit more where he's got that braggadocio, he's braggadocious, so to speak, where he's like, oh, we're going to win. We're going to take that money. Talking about some of the prizes that we mentioned before, like there were some prize packages for these open tournaments. We have it posted on VRespawn.com if you want to learn more and get into those tournaments that are coming up. You have on the 6th through 10th, the pre-qualifiers to get into the next open tournament. And those games will be played on the 11th and 12th of August. That is this month. The next tournament will have pre-quals from the 13th to 16th, and the games will be played on 16th to 17th. Now, an important thing to note is if you're in the top 16, you cannot have another player for the top 16 from ranked matches in-game on your team. So that's a problem if you play a whole bunch and get really good at it. I told them, I was like, could you not just get around it by practicing on your Smurf ahead of time and then playing? I don't know. He's like, if you want to go through that. I'm not suggesting you break the rules, but there you go. Just letting you know how it works. You can get in on that money. Get that money. $500 in a bomber jacket and a trophy if you win one of the two open ones left. And if you get the tournament champions, $2,000, 2 bomber jackets and a mech trophy if you end up winning that one. And already you have GingerMod saying he's going to wait, but that's after 2 weeks of play, man. I'm expecting Charizard's actually to come in and take that. I really do. Him and Rukafelt doesn't want to, but I think you get enough of the VR esports pros guys in there, like using their minds and how they play and their physicality. It's going to be real dangerous. They're
real competitive guys. And if my math is correct, that's $1,000 for playing in the championship per person. $2,000 total. It's a 2v2. You only have to split it with one person. Mm-hmm. That's not bad for playing a virtual reality video game.
And not as much time commitment. Not as much time commitment as a lot of the other games. You can just drop out in, take it, and leave. Like I did with Sprint Vector in Vegas. Drop in and take it.
Neither of us competed in the Sprint Vector tournaments that followed, which actually we'll have a little bit more news on that later on. But first off, if you guys don't want to get that Archangel $2,000 and you're interested in some Pavlov money, there's no Pavlov money. This actually wasn't a money match. This is just a ladder match. But
not yet. They'll get into a big league soon. It's coming.
Pavlov's my personal shooter of choice. And unfortunately, bro, our Pavlov editor / one of the players has gone missing. And so we had to put out a call to try to find some kind of content for Pavlov, because this is a community-driven show. If you guys would like to contribute, hit up the Human Resources Department, VRespawn.com. Hit us up on Twitter, something like that. But
I had to bribe him.
Came through.
I had to bribe him. I was like, you know what? I was like, guys, I will pay you $50 if you can put me something together. And Guts Gaming came forward and it's like, hey, we got something. We'll show you some Voltron video. And he put together a really good reel. It's like, hey, put together a reel, give me bullets of what happened. We'll knock this out until we can get Bro to come back. I think he's been kidnapped. We have some people out trying to find out what happened to him. But until then, check out this highlight from Guts as narrated by Stealth live.
We got Voltron versus the Leftovers here. They're going to be playing on Dust 2 and Mirage. We got these highlights once again cut from Guts Gaming, and we're going to start off here on Rust. We have Parawaki holding down A while his good pal CG Katoki and Jordan rotate in, and they manage to take out 3 targets, unfortunately losing CG in this engagement. But they do manage to clean up right there. Meanwhile, level 3 Mage here is going to trade his skull for a beautiful grenade. Check this out.
Triple kill.
Insane precision right there as it lands right between those players. We're back on board with level 3 Mage as he manages to hold a bomb site once again against 3 opponents down to this final 1v1. This is a pistol fight right here as he does give up the high ground in just a moment. We have Dr. D here hiding behind the crates as
feel that
level 3
tension?
mage here just dips down, and you feel it. You feel
Oh,
it
I can't believe he made
clearly.
that shot.
Level 3 mage keeping it steady and lands the pistol
Ooh.
shot right here as he finds himself once again in another 1v3. Manages to take out 2 players right there with the P90, my personal favorite submachine gun.
Oh, yeah.
He had a little bit more money than the leftovers players as the last leftover player rocking that Uzi. He's going to be pushing up to B bomb site right here, but level 3 mage is on the hunt as he peeks through the crack in the wall, takes off his helmet, but ducks back just in case to save his armor, and he's going to be peeking back out in the moment. Level 3 mage taking the round for 10-1 right there on Dust. All right, we're swapping over here to Mirage as grenades are dangerous even after death. That up grenade taking that player out. You got to watch out for those. Revenge coming out. Speaking of grenades, a beautiful nade crossed the map through the length of mid, right through the window into Mijutsushi's lap right there. Genova 7 sneaks in right behind the Guts team, and Jordan takes them both out. We see the AR versus AR fight as he peeks the corner right here and gets the headshot as the helmet goes flying. And this is just absolute chaos here in the lower
Trying to
tunnel.
sneak that
Trades
bomb
left
through.
and right. The bomb coming down lower tunnel, 2v1. Players popping off left and right as this tunnel is going to be highly contested. We do have a sniper up here over the top, and it is going to end up with a solo player in just a moment as players from both teams entering the tunnel. Grenades going off. The sniper gets picked off. We got flashes. We got frag raids coming out from both sides as they try to dislodge their opponents down here in this lower section. Meanwhile, this Rattery is going to be the last player alive.
The flank.
And he's going to be dropping down. The flank comes in hot, gets the pick. He's now in a 1v1 situation. Grenades are still going to be flying. And
It's
this
like
round
he's made
is
of
going
grenades.
to close out in the 1v1 with the victory for the blue side. Last up here, we got Parawaki and Guts holding up the B side. You see that red player over there in the corner. They're not going to be checking it as he goes ham with the P90. Takes out 2 guys. Unfortunately, gets taken out himself. But that's going to be a Voltron round win at the end. Voltron taking both maps 10-1 and 10-2.
That was a
Thank you to
classic
Guts Gaming.
mistake. Always check your corners.
Check your quarters. He was
God.
real sneaky and quiet there in the corner. And as you know, that P90 is a bullet hose. Just going to be spraying those guys down. But we got the stats here up for you guys who are interested. Dream Team is ahead, but they have played more games than Voltron, who does have a much better win-lose ratio at 10-1. Dream does have a lot more ties. Meanwhile, batting for third place, we got TNT and the Leftovers. Not bad teams. They're in fourth with all the other teams struggling to catch up with the Leftovers. But we'll see if there are any upsets coming up soon.
Here's my question. How much are you loving Pavlov TV right now?
Pavlov TV, I mean, you have the 5 players both on the left and right from both teams. You can see the grenade pass. That's awesome because you saw grenades flying all over the place. The pathing of the grenades matches that team's color. Dave, the sole dev on Pavlov, he's making $7-8 a pop from Pavlov purchases, and he's just doing this because he loves it.
He's a beast,
I respect
man. I
all
love
the effort
Dave.
he's put
Mad
into it.
respect. And the game
Great.
looks so good. At first, when they switched over to these spectator mode, I was a little bit worried because I know we needed a spectator mode. I tell people we need this all the time. But the first person play, I don't know if I've adjusted from all the VR I've played, but first person military games, the first person shooters, like when you see how their head moves and how they aim, the tension's all there. I mean, we'll talk about this later with Onward. I was watching an Onward, a guy just had 12 minutes of him and another guy taking out subway station in hunt mode, and they were doing military comms. And the whole time I was watching the video and I was getting tense for them, knowing full well that in VR, it is way more tense. Your legs like shaking. So
It's all you can hear. It's all you can see.
Oh, man, it's absolutely fantastic. But I'm starting to actually get to where I really enjoy the spectate mode. Those grenade paths are really good. And then, it really Guts Gaming coming together with us to bring us those highlights, to really cut them together. Nice, it's intense, kept it really nice and tight, found all the really good bits. That triple nade kill, oh, so brutal. People not checking their corners, absolutely hilarious. And speaking of corners, let's check out Sprint Vector. Sprint Vector.
We didn't even time that. That wasn't even rehearsed.
No.
That's how I say the game, so it's infected everyone else. You just Sprint Vector. Like it's almost as if Sprint doesn't exist. You use the S.
Well, You got to you play the game fast, you say it fast. All right, so
Exactly.
we had the last of our games played already. This ESL said they were going to have it through July, and that was going to be it. People didn't know if they were going to go to OC5, and we just had the announcement they are going to OC5. More on that later. But first, let's check out these highlights, as usual, from the only person we can get streaming highlights from, Katie Dad. Now,
Thanks, Katie.
Now, I was able to get Halvey to cut this together for me. I picked out the pieces that I like, but I love watching Halvey. I love watching Katie Dad. Katie Dad takes the high-profile paths, the ones that all the good players take. So if you ever want to learn the good maps, you want to learn these good paths that we had no clue were possible when we were playing the game, watch Katie play them, and you'll actually see how to get there. You see her rush using multiple overdrives to grab second place. Just, you know, from the jaws of defeat, she clutches victory. And here we see some more excellent pathing. I had him cut this out in particular because I really love what she does here. She tries her best to hold on to second place as she fights between second and third, makes a handful of mistakes as she tries to hold on to position. It does so really handily. You'll actually see one mistake that she makes as she goes from grip stream to grip stream. The great thing about going to grip stream is that you can go as fast. There's not a limiter on that one. Go as fast as your hands can carry you. So if you can stay on those, you do. But she hits that
bumped her
sign.
head there.
I know. She hits her head on the sign, and that really kills her. That's where you want to duck. This is a room scale game to a degree, so you want to do that. But she rushes here. The video cuts short, but she actually ends up hitting like a little portcullis there for a minute, and it stops. He actually cut the portcullis stop out. Halvey did that for some reason. But I was like, don't do that. That was the funny part of the video, is that she was going undefeated. And here she actually at the last second was able to cut way, way ahead and fires a missile back behind to nobody. And they're all like yelling. As you can see, way in front of her is Kaznaz with his like unstoppable bunny hopping. But here, some more excellent pathing. Check out this trip as she runs up this grip stream to another grip stream because she knows that is where she can get the speed that pseudo makes up for all the bunny hopping she's having to deal with that emergent gameplay. And this path right here, I don't think I've ever taken this path before. I don't know about Nikki, but I did not even think that was possible.
Those pushy pillars.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the risk worth the reward, as they say in the game. She rushes across here and actually tries to keep herself from getting taken down, holding on to that first place as long as she can as the players behind her are like, get back here. And she used that extra speed to get to that position. That's literally how that stuff works. Use those nitros, and you can actually get yourself all the speed you need to get up front. The problem is holding on to it, as she has Kaznaz with his jump boosting powers getting closer and closer, yelling at her, saying, come back here. Come back here, fires missiles at her. She dodges right to the right in order to get rid of those missiles and holds on as long as she can. If I remember correctly, she doesn't quite make it to the end to get first place here, but she makes it to the end. But I don't think she's able to hold on it the whole way because the nervousness gets to her and she ends up making a mistake. Not to spoil the ending for you. And as a matter of fact, I think I actually don't take it to the end because I was like, it's too heartbreaking to watch the end. Instead, I'm going to watch her grab these grip streams again as he's yelling at her to get back here. But you can see he passes her pretty handedly. Actually, that wasn't Kaznaz. There was somebody else that passed.
Do that.
Yeah, how does he do that?
Two people
Indeed.
passed her.
Emergent gameplay. Yes, somebody else actually passed Kaznaz before he was able to snatch that third place win from her. And that's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. It's what you expect. But here she goes again, showing you more expert usage of the nitro. My favorite mechanic. We saw earlier in Toxic, she was able to do that Toxic Barrage. She used that to go from like 7th to first place and held on to it until she got it taken from her at the end. Here she runs up to second and then falls back to third place, but takes some excellent pathing to recover and gets right back on track. That's the brilliant thing about that, is she got kicked off this track and she found a way back up. This woman knows how to recover. And this was something that I schooled you guys in Vegas. It's like, it's not about being the fastest. You got to recover because sometimes you lose tracking. Sometimes crap happens. You got to recover. Now, granted, I'm nowhere near the level that the professionals are at recovering. Some of the recoveries she makes, I didn't even think were possible. Speaking of what's not possible, beating Kaznaz. Now, we see right there, he gave up first place. We watched in the highlight when he gave up first place. That was the one and only time that he did. Codsworth, Joker, Precision, all beating out Katie Dead, but not by enough points to take way over there, take the top spot from her. So she still holds on to that. Over in the EU, we actually have Stody not giving up a single place to the, as you can see, unspoken players coming after him.
Stody's winning the whole thing at OC5.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call it right now.
Yeah. He's definitely winning the whole thing. We actually have the Mr. E's League is wrapping up. The finals are between 3 and 5th. You want to watch those, but everybody knows Stody's going to win. Stody has figured out basically how to wave dash. She's figured out wave dash. All the players are mad until they figure out how to do it. Katie's already saying she's not going to play anymore. But OC5 may change some minds. Maybe when they meet Stody, maybe they'll be happy. I don't know. But speaking of people going to OC5 that are going to be happy, we're going into Onward. Take it away, Nikki.
Onward is coming to OC5. In fact, they're bringing absolutely everything to OC5. And no one claimed the $50 Onward bounty. They did claim the Pavlov bounty. So I threw together the best of what I could possibly find. We strapped a camera to my head and I wandered around the Onward battlefield and pled for everyone to not shoot at me as we come up with these clips. This is some of the sneakiest play I've seen in a virtual reality video game coming out from DMT. He's in a 1v2 situation right here and does manage to gun down one of the players from Burning Chrome. And he's actually going to steal that player's grenade and use it to flush out the second player. Now, it's not going to get the kill because that grenade could be seen coming in from a mile away. But DMT is actually going to sneak around the back as this Burning Chrome player knows that he's out here. His teammate just got gunned down. But look how beautifully he pies this corner right here. Burning Chrome player has no idea what's happening. And he gets the clean, uncontested, point-blank shot. Right here, DMT, once again, the star of the show, until he just returns to his people in the sky. No idea where he's flying off to, but he does have one of his teammates about to go on an absolute rampage. These guys do need to plant at the uplink right here. Gets the beautiful shot through the pallets, but this man is on a mission, and unfortunately, Mad Scientist is in the way of that mission. We have a team kill right here as he tried to get the plant. It seems pretty obvious to not shoot your teammates, but in the intensity of it, it's just going to happen, and he does get another pick right there. As you can actually tell, he tried to revive him right there. This is just hilarious right here. These players both miss each other because OG looks down to reload, and that guy doesn't check his corners. Coming over here at the end, this is a beautifully landed flashbang triple of SMC Tactical from the Danglers, SMC Tactical Danglers play right here. The flashbang goes off, and Mr. Beefy is going to take a quick reload real quick and take a couple quick kills, winning the round for SMC Tactical.
Now, it's worth mentioning in those videos that that was week 5, highlights from week 5 and week 6, because we just haven't been able to have a good coverage from Onward. So we're reaching out to you guys to give us more. Nikki's going to explain how we've had basically no changes in the ladder.
No, pretty much Global Chem is guaranteed for OC5. They won the Invitational, so they already got their spot. We have 3 more spots available, and I can pretty much guarantee you beginners look statistically like they're going to take another one, and I'll be meeting them at OC5. Boss Fight, hanging around 5-2 right now. They're likely going to take an OC5 spot as well, but the 4th slot's up for grabs between, Boss Fight coming out 5-2 right now. They have as many wins as Global Chem, but they've played more games than anyone else. Mm-hmm. That's how statistics works. SMC Tactical and Lemon Squad are going to be the ones who are beefing it out for the 4th and final spot at OC5. They're tied 4-2 right now, so they are going to need to pick up some wins if they want to secure that final spot. But Global Chem won at the Invitational. They're looking slated to win OC5. In fact, they have a strong history of winning at these invitational tournaments.
They haven't lost yet.
We'll see if beginners upsets them. Yeah.
Well, we have an interview coming up from Hasco. She was able to talk to James, one of the 4 people who work on this game, Onward. So she has a longer form video. You can find it on her channel. She actually posted about it on VRespawn.com. So check that out if you want to see the whole write-up and her entire interview. But here is a taste of James talking about adding accessibility options to Onward.
There are a few limitations to adding seated modes. We don't want to make the game play any different for anyone who's able to play it. So we want these people, if they are going to play seated, we want to give them full functionality. People without disabilities with full functionality of their legs, like they don't have any problems crouching or going prone, laying down. These guys can prone and they can crouch in the game, or they can actually lay down, and that will give them an advantage in the game. So if we do allow a seated mode, we need to ensure that these guys have the exact same abilities and make sure that they are balanced. So that if we were to, for example, add a crouch button, we'd need to make sure that it's sufficiently takes the same amount of time to crouch and the amount of effort to get back up. We don't want them to just snap to a crouch position and then snap back up, because that could be used as an exploit.
Yes.
And if players that do have the ability to stand and do all these physical exercises, if they do, these players do get wind of being able to do that, and it is considered an advantage, then they'll probably use it. That's
Yes.
the nature of gamers. They always want to get an edge on over the other gamers.
Yes, of course.
So it's essentially just trying to make sure that if we do implement further accessibility options, which we are 100% wanting to do, definitely, we want as many people to play the game as possible.
Yeah, I
so
think
if
that's
we were
awesome.
to implement these sort of features, then we would just need to make sure that they are balanced and fair and just give the same experience to everyone, really. As we mentioned in private, we have a huge variety of the kinds of people that would play this game. We have I believe he's 76. Don't quote me on that, but we definitely have a 70-plus-year-old player that plays the game regularly and is well known in the community. And he plays this game and he really enjoys it. And I love that we can bring this experience to these kind of people, to people of all ages, and just give them the ability to do something that otherwise they wouldn't be able to do in real life. As we spoke about accessibility as well, we do have some disabled people that play this game, and they are able to do a lot of things that they're unable to do. For example, we have a player that isn't able to walk at all, and we've helped him out getting his VR set up so that he can be stood up in game whilst he is seated. As we've discussed as well, there are methods to do that sort of functionality in VR, fortunately. And as soon as we got him up and he was able to run around, he said that he felt like he was running for the first time, and to be able to bring that experience to someone's life and just see the well, obviously not the look on their face because we're not that advanced yet, but just to see the body language of you could see him. He was exhilarated. He was amazed. Just to bring that experience to someone, it's fun. It's fantastic. I'm so amazed that we're able to do these sort of things.
Yeah, and you still do perceive it. I know what you're saying about not seeing the quote look on their face, but at the same time, you see the body language. You see you can hear in someone's voice that it's impacting them emotionally. You know, I completely get what that guy's experiencing, and maybe not to that same degree, but I have to play seated everything, and so it's just I don't think people who've always had the ability to walk, run, stand, jump can fully appreciate what it's like when either you don't have that, have never had that, or it's taken away. And so, it's just one of those things where you greatly appreciate everything else that's given to you after that. I used to be able to run and walk normally, and I can't do that anymore. And so it's one of those things where in VR, I totally love the fact that I can fly around, run around, jump around. So it gives you a great sense of freedom.
All right, that was Hasko again. You can check out VRespawn.com. Is where we have the rest of that video, her video series as well. You can find her channel from there. She's actually our most prolific writer on VRespawn.com since Bro has disappeared. So she's covering most of the doing most of the stuff right now. She herself is a published author and a huge VR evangelist. So we are flying her out to OC5 to cover the events. More on that later as we get into our next game. My personal favorite, Echo Arena. The thing that really just drew me in. Like I loved VR. I played VR. I enjoyed it. But this is what really woke me up to the idea of like an actual esport in VR. Just sweating to death, losing 6 pounds a week, learning to keep water and towels next to it, meeting a bunch of people, the inverse kinematics. It was all fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, we have fantastic highlights of what happened in Cup 8 and watching Eclipse actually lose a couple rounds on stream against people who were not European was fun to say the least. You actually watched this early on. This is Strimbitsky tries to go with the rest of the Metamercs 3v1 against Simeon, who's like, get that out of my house. And as they rush all the way down to try to do something about it, you're actually going to see they're all getting there first. But no, Simeon gets it and gets the most difficult three-pointer of his life at speed. He's just like, get out of my house. But not to be put down, the Metamercs in their second round decide to step up the pain. So the Metamercs here, one of the best teams in the league, but not a team that you expect to take away a round from Eclipse. But here they are fighting back. They're like, you know what? No, you're not scoring on our goal. We're going to score on yours as we drop shot three-pointer. barely getting it in. Strimbitsky
shot,
dropping him.
Strimbitsky.
Oh, I love Strimbitsky. He's a fantastic guy. We're going to try to see if we can get
Hawaiian
him out to
man.
OC5 as well. As you see, Palador falls into the tunnel and gives up another shot, put him up 5-0. Already Eclipse is like, what's going on? Another three-pointer, 8-0? We can't have this shutout. Somebody call in a ringer and get him over here as Simeon tries his best to go the backboard shot, messes it up, recovers and grabs that high shot. The goal is very narrow from that angle. So those high and low shots are very difficult to do. I love this disrespect for Fair Enough as he looks back. He's like, you guys coming? And just nails a three-pointer, putting up 2-11. So not quite mercy territory just yet, but they're definitely getting close at 2-11. Now, I don't think they're actually able to get it. Let's take a look. Yes! Yes, they had to go in for the 2-pointers, so they don't quite crack the mercy. With only a minute left, they ended up fighting it out over here, and they get it taken away as Lemming drains himself a 3-pointer to really close up that gap. But that proves to be too little too late. Even though that they had a minute left, they burned the whole thing out. 5-13, second round down. No 2 and out for Eclipse this round. Now, I wanted to get in to watch There Is No Try. The teenage team. These guys are like 13 and 14. I was only able to get in at 4v4, and I saw very quickly, I was like, wait, they're tied? Oh, Lemming's team already scored a point. That's not a big deal. Let's see what these guys are able to do. Now, I love Ryan, and I love his group of guys. I watch Ryan and Jedi play all the time. Jedi was not playing this time around, hence the name. But still, watching these guys play is a treat for me. I enjoy them. It's a lot of raw talent. They haven't had drills, so they're not very consistent, but I love their talent. And, oh, man, the old-time players are just nothing but disrespect. They make up excuses for these kinds of things. You see right there, he missed like right up against the goal. But it doesn't matter. He's able to drain one, putting it 6-7. And you're like 6-7, 37 seconds. Eclipse has all day to turn that around. Not a big deal, right? Well, you might be a little bit shocked as one scoop grabs the disc and tries to march it down, loses it again. Like, you see some terrible plays here. This is why they get some of the disrespect whenever they get this, what do you call it, inconsistent play as they run back and forth. This is not really a good example of how they normally play, but, stress, playing against their heroes, so to speak. This is what you might expect. But Kung's just right on the goal saying, hey, I've got all day. I'm going to save it. Turns out he doesn't have to save it. 5 seconds left. They're excited. They're like, wow, after all those mistakes, we took a round from Eclipse on stream. And that was fantastic. That was the kind of love I like to see. So not to jump the gun, here's Pasco talking to him.
So this week was a little weird because I think you guys came in and surprised everybody a little bit. So you didn't surprise me because I know you guys are awesome. But what happened exactly on Sunday with the games that you guys played? I think the game everybody really wants to hear about is the first game you guys had with Eclipse. So tell us about that.
You guys want to say something?
So yeah, first game we played against Eclipse, we were kind of like goofing around a little bit because we didn't expect we were going to get close to winning. So we just did some random stuff.
It was our first time playing them, all three of us. We didn't know
Right.
what to expect, really. We just knew they were one of the best teams. They were the best team, not one of the. They were the best team in the league. And so we came in thinking that we would probably lose, but we have a chance we can try. We have to try our best.
That's great.
Right? So we started, and I think we scored the first goal with a clear and boost, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't, not, the first, 2 minutes wasn't live streamed, so nobody really saw what was happening. But we scored with a clear and boost, and...
So you won the joust? Did you guys win the joust on that first one?
No, they won they won the joust, but then we caught it, because I think they messed up their play.
Okay.
So they threw it or something, and we got it. And then we chained up, threw it down, got a 2, and then... Ryan, you want to
and then the time that Punena started to stream it was 4-4 already, so it was kind of split. And then by that time, I think it was Lemming who went under the net to Simeon, which scored from behind the net. And,
that's a tricky move. That's great.
And after that, we went downfield with the disc. We missed. I think one of us missed, and then the disc went top. I think one scoop tried to throw it from the backboard, and it sort of dinged. It went up top, and Kung grabbed it, pulled down, and shot a 3-pointer right under the leg.
The ceiling, just barely a 3.
It was like a 17-meter. And then after that, I think they kept throwing it. Yeah, it was like 6-6, or like 6-7, 6-7. Yeah, 7-6. And then we started to just clear it out, and whatever, one of us caught the disc, we threw it this way, and then I grabbed it, chucked it back to their side, and by that time it was
we heard the 5-4. We were all celebrating.
I was watching. It's like Kung was jumping.
Yeah.
So you guys won the first game, and then they won the second two, correct?
Yeah, and then they like wanted to switch servers, obviously, so they switched up. And then the third match, we just stayed at the same because it looked like everyone's ping was fine. But
it was.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, because everybody's ping was like, it started off like 100 and something, but it went down as soon as the game started.
Oh, that's good.
Everybody thought like the pings for us were really bad.
Yeah, mine was like everybody's and it dropped.
When it was at 20 when he joined the match, but like went down right away.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, so that is it for There Is No Try. Love those kids. Every time I interact with them online, fantastic. As anybody in the game knows, me and Rhino, are best friends, apparently. We had a brief conversation, then it ended up being like 2 hours. And then he was telling people, he's like, we're best friends now. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, we're best friends now. I love that guy. But then he, I think it was him, one of them was telling me they couldn't play in he wanted me to come and stream their ladder matches. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, heck yeah, I'll do that. And then I wasn't, they never got the invite. I was like, what happened? He's like, oh, my headset broke. It was in the shop. I was like, dude, I have 4 headsets. I'm your best friend. I would have shipped you one to borrow. What happened to best friends? But anyway, offer still stands, Rhino. Anytime you need a headset, reach out to me, man. I'll help you out. So as you can see, 11.5 were in their own cup this time.
This is an easy bracket right here.
Not to discount Ultra and Space Monkeys. These are fantastic teams. It's just 11.5 is unstoppable. Dash on the goal. Wit on the goal. Man, just unstoppable, these guys. And under the tutelage of Loveridge, just, oh man, unstoppable players all. So not a lot happened in that one. Pretty much went as expected. However, watching the Omegators, There Is No Try, Metamercs, and Eclipse all in the same bracket, all in the same
the hot bracket.
Swiss style. Yeah, this was the hot matches, exactly. And when Omegators got beat, but There Is No Try. What was that? Omegators, Metamercs were able to beat them. Eclipse were able to beat them. That's 2 losses there. Lots of back and forth as everybody's just trading their hits and all kind of basically tying it up, with Metamercs picking up a little bit of the tiebreaker points, which puts them squarely in second place, with third place tied up, as you can see by those numbers next to their names. And as you can watch, though, the current stage ranking, that didn't really affect anything. 11.5, Eclipse still on top. Omegators actually beating out Metamercs, though, so there's a little bit of a change there, but nothing too much to be expected, because those are just positions and seed rankings of when you're going to end up in the stage qualifier. And we have more than just stage qualifiers. They have open qualifiers coming up, then the world qualifier, but only the top 2 teams from both countries are going. Speaking of both countries, in the EU, basically the same old story. Lego still doing well on Blast. Backlash still picking up the slack. Backlash doing still, I think, week over week, doing better than we ever thought that they would perform. And this is not a diss, guys. We just did not expect, with the player list that you had, that you were going to come through and perform so well. And you're doing really good. That is not patronizing. We are excited to watch new players do this. So I know the EU guys, they get a little testy if you criticize them a little bit. So you gotta be careful with those guys. Speaking of more EU guys, Team Gravity still holding up the top spot, with Avatar not in the same bracket with Blast, so to be expected. After Shark picking up the slack, and Gamma with, I think it's somebody new right now. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but still holding on to third. As you can see, that doesn't really affect the current stage rankings much. You still have Blast and Team Gravity sitting on top. They're going to have their stage qualifiers, and they're going to have their last chance qualifier, and then they're going to have their world qualifying matches as well. But we do pretty much expect that's all going to go Blast and Team Gravity, unless somebody decides to arm wrestle again and get themselves shut out. I've heard that TutorialBot and Viatrex have claimed that they've recovered, but not completely, but recovered enough from their injuries from arm wrestling, and everybody's upset that no one videoed it. So I'm personally with VRespawn. Right. Well, VRespawn is flying a sealable bag out, and we're giving him access to the Instagram for VRespawn, so he can video and take pictures of every altercation that happens,
every arm break, every leg break, every injury,
every full Instagram. Nelson. And Nikki and I are actually talking about trying to reach out to a bunch of our friends in VR esports and see if we can organize some kind of a party, because it's a bunch of people going. We'll get into that later.
We said it publicly. I don't want to get too much into it, but I got a DJ in Electronauts.
If you say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's the word. That's the secret, man. Did you read the book? No one read the book. Come on. So moving on as we move at our fast clip with all of our news, to Beat Saber.
All right, there is so much that I need to talk about Beat Saber.
Rattle it.
Some happened, some didn't happen, and some are ridiculous. First, we're going to talk about Beat Saber Diamond. This is the Beat Saber tournament for not the S tier players, but the A tier players. Although I'm not sure how that worked because they still allowed Nice to Meet You in there, who is definitely an S tier player.
Mhm.
These are basically the guys who, if you go look at the songs that people consider are impossible, they're always fighting for those top 10 spots. So the Beat Saber Diamond Invitational already happened. It was hosted by Benny the Beast. Great mapper. He makes a lot of the maps that you can dance to, known for his tight and colorful shorts. Dude's a great streamer. They used an invitational structure, and Nice to Meet You won. Here's the thing with the kind of structures where you don't allow the top players. You really just cut it off, and where you cut it off, that the player under the cutoff is going to win, while the player above the cutoff. So Weebu Jones, the winner for the Invitational, was above the cutoff. He wasn't allowed, but Nice to Meet You, I would argue a top-tier player, won the Diamond Invitational. So congrats to him. And next up, Beat Saber World. Registration is already closed, but that is going to be taking place very soon, probably tomorrow if you're watching this video on the day it comes out. It'll take place on the 4th and 5th at 5 p.m. UTC. Anyone could enter, but it's a little bit too late now. Double elimination invitational style, 32 contestants, and that will be happening. Go check out our website, VRespawn, if you want to know more. The one I'm most excited about that I'm going to participate in is the Beat Saber International Tournament. Not to be confused with the Beat Saber World Tournament or the Beat Saber Diamond Tournament. But the Beat Saber International Tournament is going to be hosted at arcades all across the world. We're talking, I think I saw some arcades in Australia signing up. I'm trying to get an arcade in Northern California to sign up so that I can go. But it is run by the Virtual Athletics League. I had to make sure Weebu Jones doesn't know, though. I hope he doesn't live near me.
It's a secret. He doesn't watch our show.
Athletics, no, hopefully not. Hopefully he does, actually. Weebu Jones, tell me your
Comment, like,
secrets.
and subscribe.
And so the Virtual Athletics League, who I was lucky enough to meet at a recent event, is holding this one. Co-sponsored by Springboard. If you guys don't know, if you're a VR arcade owner, Springboard is one of the bigger programs that you use to license games.
Mm-hmm.
But Virtual Athletics League is running it. It'll take place August 17th. You have time to sign up. Check out their Discord. The link will be on our website, vrespawn.com.
It's all up there, man.
The all there. All the information you need to know about Beat Saber and all these other games.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. This is going to be played on a special build of Beat Saber, unlike all the other tournaments, called Beat Saber Arcade. That means no customs are going to be allowed. It will only be the songs that are part of the base game. Here's the problem with that.
Legend.
I'm not a Legend is so easy. I full combo that on like my first week of having the game. Easiest song in the base game, in my opinion. But
I love it though.
So it's a great song. Fantastic.
They need
song.
an ultra expert version of
YouTube.
these songs for the tournament.
That's the thing. So Rex, one of the owners of the Beat Saber modding group, said it perfectly. The finals will come down to needing to get 110 score on every note because the songs are kind of easy. I'm not an A tier player. I'm not an S tier player. I'd probably place myself, B at the highest. And I could do all the base game songs with my eyes closed backwards. So that tournament is going to come down to, instead of just freedom dive, flinging your arms around, hitting 5 notes a second, it's going to come down to precision and chopping the blocks in half and using big strikes. So that will be the Beat Saber International Tournament. More details are coming out later, but if you own an arcade and you want to participate, if you're a player and you want to participate, or if you want to convince one of your local arcades to participate, all that information will be on vrespawn.com. There will be local and global winners, and I got confirmation that prizes will be announced next week.
Well, here's an idea. If you think about it, right, the reason that they're having to do that, the reason that they're having to go with the base game is licensing issues, right? You can't have all these songs on there and have licensing issues. So one, we say, all right, you can, Nikki's going to put together a chart for the VRespawn theme song. You can use that. We won't charge you a licensing fee. We own that song outright. And then on top of that, maybe we could reach out to the guy who made our song and say, hey, maybe you can work out a licensing deal where Nikki puts together a bunch more like really expert stuff to the songs that you have. Because we're like, hey, we're worried about these popular people. We'll put in these songs that people don't know, and we'll have Nikki make them insanely hard. Maybe even introduce some of these songs, like 1 or 2 of these songs, just like, hey, here's our tiebreaker. Neither one of you has seen this song sight unseen. Expert, go for it.
That's usually how they do it in Beat Saber tournaments. They start off with the easy songs, and as you get closer to the end, not only are the players more tired, but they put the crazy songs at the end for the finals. So
what's the crazy song now?
Freedom Dive is absolutely bananas. I've mastered Chocolate Lily. Delta Max. I'm trying these insane songs, but I'm only placing like top 40 on these crazy songs. It's also great to not do these insane songs because there's only 50, 100 of us who can do them. And this is an international tournament. So people who are walking up are not going to be able to pull off these songs on their first go. So it is good that we're using the base game easier songs. But speaking of songs, or maybe not speaking of songs, coming up, the tournament to keep your eye out on is the Shrek's World Diamond Invitational. So I was in the Beat Saber modding Discord and I saw this conversation go down. Someone posted, if this post gets so many upvotes or so many reactions, I will map the entirety of the Shrek 1 movie into Beat Saber. And the dude is actually doing it. No joke. It's a 90-minute movie. All the singing and everything, all the dialogue, everything in between, the onion scene, the Farquaad stuff, the dragon getting all of it. They're mapping the whole movie. And I want to participate, but also I don't. Because it sounds horrifying.
Well, if you think about it, from VR esports, we always said that it is one part gamer mentality and another part endurance athlete.
This is endurance and memeing.
We got to make Rage Sack
maximum capacity.
Rage Sack needs to do it in mall mode. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, there are a lot of streamers competing. We'll have a list up on VRespawn. It is coming out. It's going to be 9 days, probably 8 days by the time you're watching this will be the tournament. I didn't get an exact date, but I heard in 8 days from the time you watch this, if you watch it right away. So go check it out. It is the entire movie. I thought they were joking. They're not joking. There's an entire Discord for it. There's a tournament. People will not get to see the map beforehand. They have to play it and then submit a score by a hard deadline. So if you want to, for some reason, play, join the Shrek World Diamond Invitational coming very soon. And last thing we had to talk about here in this section, I'm just throwing it in because it's part of the Virtual Athletics League. After H, it is a LBE, which is location-based entertainment game for VR arcades. You actually use like a gun with a Vive tracker on it. And if you guys want to participate in that, it's too late. But the tournament is happening literally the day that this airs. Yeah. And it's a first-person shooter after Humanity.
We are going to keep trying our best to get this information to you earlier and earlier. We are new, so people are not all completely aware of us, but we're starting to get people noticing us, starting to reach out to us. So we're going to start learning about these events an early enough time. So if you watch VRespawn.com, you go to VRespawn News on Twitter, we will try our best to keep you apprised so you know where the money is, you know what games are coming out. If you're a guy who's just like, hey, I've got skill, but I need to get in that game at the same time everyone else is, or I need to get in that game first so I could be at the top tier first and not have to fight my way so hard. Or you actually look at the competition and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to fight my way in that league because that looks like my my cup of tea. Either way, watch this. Keep it sharp. But this is why the only reason we're doing this is so that the community knows. Yes, so that you can know. The community knows all the different games that are happening, all the money that's available, when the dates are, what you got to qualify for, so that you can get in and play these games. Because that's why we play VR. We play virtual reality, be part of this community, be part of these games, be part of the future. But hey, you can compete in these games. A lot of you guys are top notch. Half the reason you got a VR headset is because you were bored with what regular games had to offer and you needed to take it next level. Well, you want to take it another level? You get in the VR esports scene. That is why we're here. Speaking of people who got into the VR esports scene early, Unspoken Pros, who got some good news today that they were going to OC4. They still have the last chance qualifier to come up. They're going to take OC5, sorry.
OC5,
yeah. OC5. Oh, man, that's taking me back. I'm traveling back in time. Traveling back in time. Yes, so they're going to OC5. They're taking the top 4 from the US to for the EU. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the OC5 coverage. But you can watch all the videos that people have. Charizard can actually show you how to play the game. So it's everything you need to know about that. And we're going to go up a little bit more to talk about what happens later. You know, it's a Charizard and serve error. And since they're taking top 4, Rook actually might be making it out to OC5. Was he excited about the announcement?
Let's go, Rook, from the Sprint Vector, from the Stell Shampoo Sprint Syndicate.
Yes. Was he excited? I figured he'd be excited to see that he might actually go after all, but I don't know if he's still on the top of leaderboards. We don't have those standings right now because they haven't been playing games for a while since they were initially nixed from the league and then brought back in to the league. So we're waiting for those dates for those qualifiers. But we will keep you apprised on VRespawn.com. But now to talk about what everybody wanted to talk about, all the announcements for Oculus Connect 5. And Oculus Connect is bringing out so many players. They announced Unspoken, as we just talked about, top 4 from both North America and Europe with a prize package of $11,250 for a total of
more
8
money than
players.
I have.
And
A lot of money.
Sprint Vector's doing it as well. Top 4 EU, top 4 North America. The thing is, a chunk of those players are Unspoken players, so they're going to get 2 for 1 here for another prize package of $11,750. Stody's basically taking the whole thing home. Kaznaz taking over second place.
That money. That's
Totally. So right now, we're already up to 16 players. Echo Arena's bringing in top 2 from North America, top 2 from Europe, because they are teams. It is a lot more people, and it takes longer. So 2 and 2 teams for a total of 12 people, 3 people on team for a prize package of $38,000. So already we got... What?
Eclipse. That's going to be Eclipse.
Eclipse, 11.5, Blast, and Team Gravity. It's totally going to be those players. Yes.
I want to see Metamerks there, though. I want to see Strabitsky in his Hawaiian shirt.
I've already reached out to Strabitsky and I asked him, I was like, if you can find a place to stay, because I'm probably not going to get to go. I don't know yet. I was like, if you can, because the Canadian tickets are super cheap. So it's like, we'll fly you out, and you and Sealable Bag can be the VRespawn Instagram reporters for the thing. We'll bill it that way. It'll be fine. We've already got Sealable Bag straightened away. He's coming out, and he's going to be operating the Instagram.
We got a crew. VRespawn legit at OC5. We're showing up with a posse.
Yes, we are. And we're showing up with a VR esports posse because, not to be outdone, Onward announced top 4 teams in the world going, 2 from Europe, 2 from North America, 5v5 action for a prize package of $60,000. Now, those of you...
half the pool.
Yes, it is. For those of you who are playing at home, you take 8 players from Unspoken, add 8 players from Sprint Vector. You got 16. You add in the 12 players from Echo Arena. You're doing it on your hands. That's 28. Then 5 players on each team for the 4 teams. That's another 20 players. What does that put you up to? 48 virtual reality esports players. Now, we already said we're going to fly out. We're going to fly out Strambitsky if we can. We're going to try to fly. We're definitely already flying out Sealable Bag. Sonya Haskins, Hasco 7's coming out. Stealth's going to be there. So already that puts the VR esports guys already over 50 people, which is why we absolutely have to figure out how to turn this into a party afterwards.
Oh, man.
Many tournaments.
I didn't think we talk about this publicly. We didn't. We just kind of talked about it a couple
We have
hours
no
ago.
rules. We have no rules. You know those other companies that we deal with? Those other companies are like NDAs, and you can't tell people about this stuff because media, blah, blah, blah. Sure, yeah.
We run this.
Sure, there are rules, but we get to be young and naive and make our own rules. And our own rules is, hey, let's have a party. let's have
I'm literally
Aquanaut.
looking for venues right now.
Yes,
Electronauts. I'm DJing. If we throw a VRespawn party, I'm
that's
DJing
a 2-player game.
That's true. Dude, you can come DJ. We can have guest DJs in there. We have Strambitsky playing some Hawaiian music. He's always wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Ain't nobody stopping us.
Ain't nobody stopping us, indeed. Well, there's a little bit more taste of the theme song, and that is the end of the show. Episode 5, done and done. Follow us on VRespawn News and Twitter, VRespawn.com. All the information. Hasco just burning it up at both ends in order to get those posts out so you know what's coming. I am Poonanners, at Poonanners Play on Twitter, just making noises on the mic. The captain of hype over here, Stealth Shampoo, Halvey cutting together highlights, Guts Gaming bringing us Pavlov highlights, and as always, Sonya Haskins, Hasco7, bringing the interviews and longer form interviews on her channel. Follow us on VRespawn.com, and we'll bring you more as it comes.